Welcome to Wadhwani Viewpoint podcast. I am your host Atul. This is a special edition. Special because today we have the President and CEO of Wadhwani Foundation, Dr Ajay Kela, with us. Ajay, it's a privilege to have you with us today, and we'd love your views on some of the key entrepreneurial and skilling and job related issues facing the nation today. Let me start by asking you about the recent developments in the Indian startup space, which has quickened recently. In May 2022, India got its 100th unicorn. By 2025, the predictions are India will have 200 unicorns. Why is such an outlook being projected for the Indian startup ecosystem? I would like your views on that.
I think if you travel around India, you'll see that there is no shortage of problems. So entrepreneurs really, identify problems that build solutions around problems that exist that are impacting large masses of population. So the opportunities are enormous in the country. Over the last, I would say, 10-12 years, and as we have seen, as you pointed out, we've now had the 100th unicorn in May. Behind every unicorn, there's probably 1,000 other startups that have started. So then now we have a very rich, vibrant ecosystem of startups, both in terms of entrepreneurs and the best and brightest in the country wanting to pursue entrepreneurship. So we have that on the supply side. We have all these folks that previously, were leaving the country, like the IITIM, going to US. They are wanting to stay back because they see an opportunity here. So that part of the ecosystem is building. Of course, the ecosystem around investors, mentors, service providers that cater to startup is building around. Given all this ecosystem is in place, given there are multiple opportunities that are available, given we have seen enormous successes like you pointed out, we are seeing a vibrancy in the country. I think the switch, it probably took us 7 to 10 years to get to 100 unicorns. Now we are projecting another 3 years to get to the next 100, because the momentum has been built. The momentum is spreading from Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi to secondary and tertiary cities. If not unicorns, there will be, and actually a country like India just does not need unicorns. You need probably hundreds of unicorns, thousands of companies that are going to hire 500 to 1,000 employees, and tens of thousands that are going to hire 100 employees to fulfill the demand that the country has. And of course, the problems exist. So that vibrancy is building. Colleges are beginning to teach entrepreneurship en masse. Students are demanding to take entrepreneurship courses. So right from aspiring learning entrepreneurs to starting entrepreneurs, the Indian ecosystem now has close to 700 incubators. So that also is nurturing the entrepreneurial journey. Two, when you start the journey, you have mentors, investors, service providers, consultants, all helping.
Right.
That's what will accelerate.
Right. So before we go to the next question, Ajay, there are actually very clear trends about a funding winter now coming in the startup ecosystem. So any quick word of advice to the startups as to how do they counter this situation?
Yeah, I think, almost all industries and these and the entrepreneurial or the startup ecosystem will go through cycles. There will be cycles of boom and where money is very easily available. There will be cycles of downsizing because the environment changes. And whether there is a boom or a bust, I think my advice to startup is to have a very singular focus on the customer. What problems are they trying to solve? Either problem solve or what desire are they trying to fulfill for the customer? How does their solution, in terms of the price points or cost of the solution, does the unit economics work? Right. What does it take to produce it? What is the customer willing to pay for that pain or for that desire that they want to fulfill? And how large is the market? So keep that in mind. And every penny you spend, whether it's boom time or bust time, spend with caution. Spend with where you yourself think twice when you're buying something for your own self, versus, apply the same principles that we apply for personal spending on the company spending. If you do that, you don't have to worry about boom and bust. You set the culture in the organization to do that.
Right, so that's great piece of advice. And talking about the entrepreneurial space, I think the discussion won't be complete if we don't talk about SME entrepreneurs, who are the bulwark of the economy and who are basically the growth and job creation engine also of the Indian economy and globally as well. So what should the foundation be doing to further support this job creation capacity of the SMEs? And on the other hand, what could be some of the initiatives that the government of India could take?
So, we talked about startup entrepreneurs, and the journey of an entrepreneur is tough. In India today, 90% of them don't make it. Incubators, some of the things the foundation is doing is trying to minimize that failure rate. But India also has a very rich ecosystem of close to 70 million small businesses who have already proven themselves. In fact, in one case, 90% are going to fail. In the other case, 99% are going to survive and thrive. And many of them have a potential to scale 2x, 10x from where they are. They already have a proven business model. They have a business model maybe that works in a small locality or a small county or a small state, which can be taken to the next level. If it is a small region, it can be taken to a citywide, or it can be taken to statewide or national or global. So those opportunities exist for a lot of these small businesses. Large companies, when they are looking to scale, they get all the help from these consulting firms like McKinsey for strategic consulting, execution support they can get from Accentures of the world. These companies don't get that. And this is something where, the government is doing a lot in terms of providing small business loans, making it easier for them. There are government procurement policies which favor SMEs, but providing knowledge support, knowledge infrastructure, consulting support is missing. Banks give loan, but banks don't give them the the guidance and know-how on how to grow, where to grow, and so on. So I would say that that's the biggest gap, not only in India, in multiple countries around the world, where they are not getting the support and help they need to empower themselves to identify the right opportunities and then flawlessly execute on those opportunities. And that's what they need to do.
Right, very important, because globally we are seeing 70% of the new job creation is actually coming from small businesses. And
right.
That's the need to support them.
Yes, and for a country like India, where we have a massive boom of youth and youth population, job creation is critical for the country. And as you pointed out, 70% of all new jobs are either created by startups or small businesses.
Yes.
So India is rightly so supporting the startup ecosystem. This ecosystem is vibrant. I think we need to pay a similar attention to small businesses because they will produce a lot more jobs than the startups will do.
Right.
Startups are going to probably become the pipeline for the next generation of SMEs. But SMEs that exist today, that will produce the jobs tomorrow,
Right.
Need to get that same sense of support and vibrancy
Sure.
to solve India's job growth problem.
Sure. So these are some of the great insights. We have spoken about job creation. But when we speak about job creation, we have to cap it up with job fulfillment. Skilling has been a big issue globally over the years, especially in the pre-pandemic period. It used to be talked in very different overtones. It's a hot button topic. But in the post-pandemic era, we are seeing the skilling paradigm is changing very fast. The skilling requirements are undergoing massive transformation. There is a requirement for new age skilling to cater to what we call as the future of work. So we wanted your views on what are some of the new age skills that will become essential in the near future, which the youth of today should look at seriously for enhancing their employability.
You know, the aspiration of every youth, even if you come from a very rich family, as you turn 18, 20, is to be able to support themselves. All of us know when we got our first check, whether that empowerment that you feel having earned your own money is just far superior than anything else. And of course, the rich can still be supported, but masses of folks and masses of youth need jobs that can support themselves to start with and then their families. In today's day and age, where industry is changing rapidly and dramatically, and where we have shifted to primarily a knowledge economy, the skills that are required to command a family supporting wage are very, very high. So today, as you are experiencing, even engineering degrees in India are not enough to support a family supporting wage. I think the good news on the other side is that there are many jobs, especially jobs in the digital space and jobs in the green space, that lead to high value, good jobs for which the skills can be acquired through short-term courses. So for instance, data, as you all know, everyone calls data is the new oil. And there's masses of data that is collected that can provide enormous insights and enormous path towards what's good for the business going forward. So things like data cleansing, data preparation for data analytics, and in between them, data visualization,
Right.
Is an example of a job that is in very high demand, that pays very high wages. The skills to do that can be acquired through 6 to 12 months of a program, through 500 to 800 hours of training. And these are the kinds of things that will increasingly be available.
Right.
I think the industry is rapidly shifting towards rewarding skills than academic credentials. So 4 years of academic credentials are probably not as important, and you are seeing that engineers are graduating, but employers are complaining that they are not finding the talent because there is a huge disconnect, gap between what academia is producing and what industry wants. So the gap can easily be fulfilled by skills. Employers are now seeking skill-based jobs. And so that's the shift, I think, is beginning to happen with the employers and then with the providers, where they are trying to start offering short-term courses. So across the globe, you are seeing these boot camps, data analytics boot camp and IT support boot camps, that you go through it and you get a better job. So that shift is going to happen. In jobs, you talked about what kinds of jobs. I said, digital jobs, social media marketing, user interface design, data analytics, project management. In the green field, there's EV technicians, everything to do with solar and wind and renewable energy. That will create masses of jobs, from design to installation to maintenance and support to the IT infrastructure that is required to monitor. Yeah.
Right. Very rightly said, because I remember a 2019 survey where 80% of the employers actually said that they find the engineers coming out of our institutes to be not fit enough to take up the jobs that they are supposed to take up. So why do we do 4 years? Why not the short-term course? So
Correct.
that's a mindset change we need, I feel. Now, coming back to the foundation, I think we just want to wind up our discussion by taking leverage of your presence today and understanding we have had a 2-decade-old journey, more than 2 decades, and today we are well positioned to transform ourselves like the world is changing for better impact. So where the foundation is going in the near term, what are the objectives, what do we want to achieve going forward, if you can spell that out?
So one thing that hasn't changed with the foundation through its 2 decades of journey is the mission. The mission has always been job creation and job fulfillment. And it's just not any job, it is a job that can support a family of 4. 20 years ago, when the journey started, that was the mission. Today is still the mission. I think the first 10 years was all about working and proving the model. And of course, the foundation wanted to do it at a national scale. So we started with one initiative, which was to inspire and educate college students to look at entrepreneurship, and in one country, which was India. If we fast forward to today, we have 5 initiatives spanning from supporting college students to become entrepreneurs, to supporting entrepreneurs, startup entrepreneurs that have started the journey, to supporting small business entrepreneurs up to 30 million, to upskilling people to fill those jobs. 5 or 6 initiatives like this across 20 countries. So that's been a first 10 years, one country, one initiative. Today we have 7 to 10 initiatives in 20 countries. So it's almost 140 expansion in the last 10 years. That momentum will continue. I think in the next 10 years, we will see massive scale happening in each of our initiatives. So today, in our entrepreneurship initiative, we are touching 50,000 students a year. I think in the next 3 years, we will probably get to, on an annual basis, to 250,000 to 500,000. On our skilling program, we are supporting 100,000 a year. And our target is by 2025 to support 1 million a year. Somewhere around 40-50% will be from India, the rest will be from the other part of the world. On small business, which is a very new initiative, it started a couple of years ago. We are doing about 250 companies a year. We want to get to thousands of companies a year. So that's what we are looking at from the perspective of existing initiatives. The foundation also has been known to keep on adding new initiatives. 2 years ago, we started the Small Business Initiative. 5 years ago, we started the Upskilling Initiative. Somewhere between these two, we started an initiative to support small startup entrepreneurs through our Lift-Off program. Last year, we established an initiative called Wadhwani Institute of Technology and Policy to train masses of bureaucrats in India, and then we'll take it to other countries, to be the leaders in leveraging emerging technologies for policy formulation, policy implementation, measurement of policy outcomes. We are already incubating a program or new initiative around creating a digital platform for enabling better delivery of health to masses, impacting the last mile in terms of clinical delivery as well as impacting public health organization through a digital platform. We are extending this digital physical model, build a digital platform and have masses of physical infrastructure to deliver to the last mile in health, in agriculture, in education. So these are 3 areas that we are looking at right now. The physical part of it creates masses of jobs. The digital part of it produces the best quality, gives the best knowledge, which will force expansion of the physical because they are delivering quality services. Demands will go up.
Right.
So that's the current vision. So I wouldn't be surprised. 10 years ago, we had one country, one initiative. Now we have close to 10 programs and 20 countries. We may have 20 initiatives and 20 countries all offering all the initiatives.
Right, Ajay. So the foundation is actually going from strength to strength, and the impact objectives are also obviously multiplying. And and we must thank our founder and chairman, Ramesh, so that we can do what we set out to do. And we should end the podcast with a big thank you to Ramesh and his unwavering commitment to the foundation. And Ajay, I must thank you for taking time out to be with us today. At the Wadhwani Viewpoint, it is our endeavor to get industry and thought leaders. And with you, it's a great beginning for the same. So thank you.
Just to add to what you just said, absolutely, I think Ramesh is not only contributing financially, but he is fairly deeply engaged in each of these initiatives and contributing both in kind and in cash. The other thing is that he is in this game for truly impacting the beneficiary. There is very little energy or none at all spent in personal branding.
Right.
And I think starting from there, that defines the culture of the foundation. Most of the people in the organization, or I'll say all the people in the organization, have a very strong bias towards mission, towards the beneficiaries versus sugarcoating our impact.
Right.
We are not happy to claim something where we believe we haven't done it. So everything we do, we say, is it attributable to us? And the only way we determine attribution is to ask the beneficiaries if they benefited and if they got to where they got to, would they say they got there because of the foundation? And that's how we measure impact and attribute to us. Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree, Ajay. At the foundation, it's the passion to make a difference is what drives us. It's been a pleasure speaking to Ajay today. Thank you and see you in the next edition of Wadhwani Viewpoint.